Today on our 2016 Audi Q5, we're going to be taking a look at and installing the Curt Class 3 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13136. Here's what this hitch is going to look like once it's installed on the vehicle. As you can see, it's pretty well hidden and tucked away underneath here to where you can see the receiver tube opening. And if you're at a low enough angle, you can see a little bit of the cross tube, but it maintains an overall very clean look on the vehicle. This hitch features a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, with a nice welded on reinforcement collar around it. Features a 5/8" standard hitch pin hole to secure all of your Class 3 accessories. It's got this welded steel plate on the underside for the safety chain connection points, and it's got nice large diameter holes in order to make sure that you can get just about any type of safety chain that you may have connected to that. With all non-trailer loads used with this hitch, it does require the use of a stabilization strap. So if you'd like to get one of those, you can get that on our site, part number 18050. This hitch features a 750-pound max tongue weight rating, which is the maximum downward force you can put here at the edge of the receiver tube opening. And it features a 5,000-pound gross trailer weight rating, which is the weight of the trailer and anything that you may have loaded up on it. But you will want to be sure to check the owner's manual of your vehicle to make sure it's capable of that type of weight. This hitch is not rated for use with a weight distribution system. One of the things I like most about this hitch is that it is tucked nicely away, so it does maintain a clean look on the vehicle so that it doesn't add this bulky thing that sticks out on the back. Now, let's give you some measurements to help assist you with your selection of hitch mounted accessories such as ball mounts, bike racks, or cargo carriers. The distance from the center of the hitch pinhole to the outermost part of the rear bumper is about 6.5 inches, and the distance from the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening to the ground is about 12.25 inches. Now, let's show you how to install this hitch. First thing we'll need to do to begin our installation is we're going to need to remove this lower part of the rear fascia. And in order to do that, we'll start by taking this cover off. You need a T25 Torx bit to remove these two screws. And then you can take that out of there and set it aside. Now we'll remove these two other T25 Torx screws that are just further towards the front of the vehicle from where those two were on the cover. So now, because in this lower fascia it has backup sensors, there's the plug that's on the back of one of them, and there's 4 that are across the back of this fascia. So we'll need to squeeze down on the tab that's on there, and it should pull right off, and the other 3 will be the same. So now we can begin to remove this lower fascia portion. And here in this corner, you'll see there's a clip. You can kind of press down on it to help begin to work it out from there. And then in order to remove this fascia, you want to get behind that edge of it that you just popped out and carefully just begin prying outwards, as there are clips all along the way that hold it in. Now you can see where this wiring is clipped on all along the way. We'll just have to take these. You can just kind of squeeze down on them and pry them off of there. If there are any that are giving you a hard time coming off, you can take a flathead screwdriver just to kind of help pry them off of there. And you can take that lower fascia and carefully set it aside. Now I'll be taking our U-bolts that come with the kit and installing them so that they come out through these 2 holes here. And in order to do that, we'll be using a fish wire that's provided in the kit. Thread one end into the coiled end of the fish wire, and the other end of the fish wire, I'm gonna bend that so that we can loop it through and bring it back out that lower hole. And then we'll let that U-bolt rest there, and then we'll install the U-bolt on the driver's side that same way. Now we'll need to take these 2 front plugs here in the trunk pan. We'll need to take those out, And with this covering on the underside, you can take a utility knife, just carve around the edge. Once you've got it loosened up most of the way around, you can grab a pair of pliers and pull the plug out. Then we'll repeat that process for moving the plug on the other side. Now I'll take one of our square hold spacer blocks and 1/2-inch carriage bolts, put them together and slide them up inside there. And then we'll take a little bit of silicone gasket maker and put it around here so when the hitch goes up to it, it'll help seal that so that moisture doesn't get up into the trunk pan there. And if you'd like to get some of this, you can pick that up on our site, part number LT37467. And then I'll repeat that same process for the hole on the other side. Now, it's a good idea to hang up a support strap underneath the exhaust and then tighten it up so that the exhaust can't hang too low, because we're going to have to remove the hanger brackets. And on both sides, it's going to have one of these brackets with two 8mm bolts with a 13mm head. I'll take my 13mm socket, I'll remove both of those bolts. Then I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. Now I'm going to let a little bit of tension off this strap just to make this gap here a little bit bigger. Now we can take our hitch, and with the second set of hands we'll put it up into position, and you'll want to put those fish wires through the correct holes on the hitch, because the U-bolts may need to get pushed back into the edge of this frame just a little bit. Then we'll carefully work it up there. And you'll need to get that bracket in between the exhaust hanger and where it mounts to. We can take one of our 8mm bolts and feed it up through that exhaust hanger bracket in the hitch and begin threading it back in just to help hold it in place. Now we can get both of our 1/2-inch flange nuts started on our 1/2-inch carriage bolts here in the bottom of the trunk pan. Now we'll take our fish wire in order to make sure that our U-bolt is pulled back into place. We'll be sure to do that with both of them. And then once you've got it pulled through, you can get one of the flange nuts started. And then take your fish wire off and get the other flange nut started. Then we'll go to the other side and do that same thing. Now we'll take our other 8mm bolt that ties up the exhaust hanger bracket, and we'll get it started for reinstallation, and doing that on both sides. Now we can begin tightening the hardware, starting with our 1/2-inch hardware here underneath. Then the 8mm bolts holding in our exhaust brackets. Now I'll take a 9/16 wrench and begin tightening up our flange nuts on our 3/8 U-bolts. When you tighten up these U-bolts, you want to try to keep the amount of threads that are out of these nuts pretty even, so we've got good even pressure on that U-bolt inside our mounting bracket there. Now we'll need to be sure, go back and torque down all of our hardware to the specification listed in the instructions. Now with our hitch all secure, we can remove our support strap. Now we can begin to reinstall our lower fascia. Then we can replace our cover here in the center. That's going to complete our look at and installation of the Curt Class 3 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13136, on our 2016 Audi Q5.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.